Hey, so remember when I said a few videos ago that I love family-themed movies because they make me swoon despite being a nice ray of pitch black in real life? Well, get ready to be punched in the face by this family-themed movie, baby! Today we're talking about Mother. Roll intro. Bong Joon-ho doesn't need much of an introduction, does he?
And the Oscar goes to Parasite.
Thank you. I will drink until next morning.
Alright, I'll do it for anyone who somehow went a whole year without hearing the name once. Right now, Joon-ho is probably the most well-known South Korean director out here in the West, if not one of the most well-known in general. Sorry, Park Chan-wook, let's hope your day will come soon. Ever since his directorial debut in 2000, Joon-ho has been very consistent in making highly acclaimed films that mix a variety of themes and genres with dark humor and social commentary. I don't have time to give a film scholar level analysis here, unless you really want me to in the future, so here's a Cliff Notes version of what Joon-ho has talked about before. Parasite tackles class conflict in South Korea as well as the issues created by disparities in wealth and social status. Hye-ja discusses animal rights and GMOs, as well as the meat industry's dehumanization of animals. Snowpiercer and The Host both discuss the climate crisis and again, class disparities. Wonder if that's gonna be a running theme here, albeit from different perspectives. The former explores the consequences of global warming and class conflict among the last remaining humans. The latter focuses on pollution and how the United States and South Korean governments aren't always as caring as they'd appear to be. Memories of Murder shows how the police, you guessed it, aren't as glammed up as we often see it on TV or in film. Barking dogs never bite? Yeah, I don't know about this one since I haven't seen it yet. Although I haven't seen Memories either because I ain't paying that much for the movie. But among Joon-ho's filmography, his 2009 offering Mother is perhaps the least talked about part of his career. That's not to say Mother wasn't a success, but when you come after a big-budget monster flick and right before your English language debut, it's understandable that you get a bit overlooked. For me, Mother served as an introduction to the world of Bong Joon-ho. Yes, I was ahead of all of you who first came in with Parasite. Ha! Does that make me popular? Yeah, it won't, but hey, it's the little things that matter. Taking a very quick look at Mother, the film seems to be a more straightforward one compared to many of Joon-ho's other films. Well, at first. The story focuses on the titular Mother. Yes, that's all she's known as throughout the film and how she's referred to in the credits. But it's a fun little play on the word murder since murder and mother are spelled the same in Korean. Fun language facts, folks. Get 'em while they're hot. Anyways, Mother is a widow and lives with her son, Yoon Do-joon. That is a mouthful. Yoon is intellectually disabled, but is for the most part rather shy and kind. That is, unless you mock his disability, of course, like this.
바보?
Then you're in for some trouble. And Mother loves her son very much, and she is very overprotective of him and babies him all the time to some pretty absurd extents. She means well though, even if their relationship borders on some, shall we say, questionable stuff. Mother also disapproves of Yoon's decision to hang out with Jin-tae, one of the town's local thugs. Perhaps that's just a wee bit hypocritical since Mother runs an illegal acupuncture treatment service, but what can you do? Unfortunately, Yoon has a tendency to forget very important events at the worst possible times. That's convenient for others who can manipulate him easily, but very bad for Yoon. Especially when he becomes the prime suspect in the murder of a high school girl. A golf ball with Yoon's name lying nearby is all it takes for the police to pin the blame on him and arrest him. And the police being, well, the police.
차례 눈 감고 움직이지 마. 움직이면 다친다. 자, 힘 줘. 꽉. 봤냐?
Pressure Yoon into signing a confession. Now Yoon faces a lengthy prison sentence, and the fact that he can't remember what happened the night before makes it borderline impossible for him to get out. But that girl's real killer didn't count on Mother coming to the rescue now, did they?
너 알잖아. 우리 둘이니 물방개 한 마리도 못 죽인다는 거.
Mother doesn't believe for a second that her precious son could be the murderer and does her best to get him released. But her lawyer is a useless, self-absorbed piece of trash, and the rest of the community has already labeled Yoon as the killer. There's not much that anyone can do in this situation, right?
Wrong!
Mother is undeterred by these setbacks and continues the investigation on her own, as one does. After badgering every resident and officer in town, she finally learns of a lead that might lead her to uncovering the truth. In doing so, however, Mother learns some facts about the case that she might have been better off not knowing. From my little description of Mother, you might be asking yourself, have I seen this film before? And you'd probably be correct. There's the action version, the thriller version, the crime drama version, and a bunch of other types I'm leaving out here. Many of us have grown accustomed to this formula, but like many of Joonho's other films, Mother takes out expectations and throws them out the window. Just when we think we know where the story's headed, the film takes a sharp turn and now we're at an entirely different place. And this happens consistently throughout. A possible suspect may be entirely innocent, or one person we thought was unrelated might just be the missing piece to the puzzle. Or so we think. Will many Western viewers be put off by this? Who knows? There have been quite a few films in the recent years that subvert expectations that have pissed people off to no end. What the fuck was that? My partner, ladies and gentlemen, he's an old man. You should do it again. What's wrong with your throat?
I didn't expect it to be that funny.
It sounds so bad. You don't realize just how much you sound like an old man who's been smoking his whole life. Okay, moving on.
You need a moment?
I probably do. Sometimes audiences want more and more of the exact same thing every time. And yet it's for that reason that Mother is a real treat. If you've grown tired of seeing an endless barrage of generic action and thriller movies, Mother is the antidote. There isn't a simple ending here where everything has been neatly tied up and everyone is all nice and happy. There is a resolution, Joonho doesn't pull a cop-out here, but it's not at all what we're used to. At the same time, however, Mother isn't too far removed from many classic suspense films such as those from Alfred Hitchcock. You can see some strains of Psycho here with how the film properly subverts expectations and the complex mother-son relationship. But Joonho also follows the Hitchcockian method of gradually building tension and rarely letting up. Each new clue makes us revisit the murder from a new perspective and has us question who we can actually trust. Now, for a pretty serious movie like this, you'd think the director would try to, say, maintain a consistent tone, right?
뭐야, 뻘쭘하게.
No, not at all. Joonho is not afraid to put in a surprising amount of humor alongside the film's drama and suspense. But he is a master at balancing these tones so none of them feel as though they're intruding on one another. From a technical viewpoint, Mother also exceeds. The film has a very grim and bluish look which, like I Saw the Devil, works on two levels. It's aesthetically pleasing, but the dark and gloomy look of the town suits the idea that by digging deeper into a seemingly normal village, not everything is what it seems. It's kind of like Blue Velvet, if any of you watching this saw it. The music is also pretty good. It's a bit on the minimalistic side of things, so its use doesn't stand out quite as much as it does in some of Joonho's other films. Nonetheless, it's still used very effectively here, especially in the first and last scenes. We even get a bit of satire and social commentary thrown in, which, again, never overwhelm the story. The police are, once again, pretty useless and often made a mockery of when they aren't committing some questionable acts to close the case sooner.
어머님이 상당히 잘 뛰시네.
야, 너 이 새끼야 운전을 너?
There are a couple of upper-class citizens who look down upon the lower class. We can tell they're rich because they play golf and drive around Mercedes-Benz.
벤츠 280. 아이씨, 이걸 진짜 넌 그걸 왜 뿌겠어 쓸데없이?
Most prevalent of all, though, would probably be the role of the parent against Korean society, specifically the mother. When the rest of the country has gone through some troubling times, both now and in the past, it becomes all the more important to keep the family together. And when a member is accused of a terrible act, what is more important? What the state says, or your blood ties? I'll admit, a lot of this went over my head the first time around. But even without knowing all of this information, there's a lot to appreciate and enjoy about Mother. But when you do learn about all of this, it really helps to enrich your viewing experience. It goes without saying that the most important aspect of all in a character-driven film are the performances. For this film to really succeed, we have to be completely invested in the mother and her son. Believe that the devotion this woman has for her son is real, so much so that she would be willing to commit some pretty terrible acts. Fortunately, both of our leads do a tremendous job in bringing to life these sympathetic yet very flawed characters. And learning a bit more about the actors themselves adds another layer to their performances. Kim hye-ja is a very popular TV actress best known for her portrayals of mothers, with her nickname being Mother of the Nation. But at the time, she had been heavily typecast as the kind and loving matriarch, reflective of how Korean society expected mothers to act. But Joonho wanted to show audiences that she shouldn't be restricted to the same type of character. In fact, Joonho wrote Mother specifically for Kim. As Mother, Kim delivers the complete opposite kind of character that made audiences fall for her television persona. While she is filled with a lot of kindness and warmth, Mother is still able to fall victim to hysteria and madness. Love knows no bounds for her, and she's willing to do whatever it takes to save her son, even if it results in the ruin of others. We can see from the film's very first scene, Mother walks alone in the middle of a field and begins to dance. She says nothing, but just by watching how she moves and her facial expressions, we can see the emotional turmoil her character has gone through. From that point on, the character of Mother continues to intrigue us. She's kind, funny, and determined, but she's also ruthless, flawed, and most important of all, human. Without Kim to play this character, I don't think Mother would have worked as well as it does. Won Bin, who plays her son Yoon, was in a similar boat in his career. He became very famous early on as a teen heartthrob, but he didn't have a chance to really pursue other types of roles. As Yoon, he's perhaps even more removed from his previous work than Kim. He's very credible playing Yoon. The way he walks and how his eyes give an almost puppy dog look make the character never feel fake or cliched. When they share the screen, and even when they don't, we also get a sense of the history the two have. How Mother raising him on her own with his disability has affected her, and making us wonder why she's so devoted to him in the first place. The latter is revealed as the film goes on, and just like any good movie, it raises many more questions that we have to try and figure out for ourselves. Do I have any real complaints with this film? Honestly, I don't have many, but if I really wanted to be nitpicky, the film does go on a hair too long. A few scenes go on a bit longer than needed, but none of this drags the film down. Every scene feels necessary as it either moves the plot forward or it gives a better look into the characters. Also, this movie has subtitles? Gross. Who wants to read?
Foreign films.
Doesn't have.
An English dub.
I'm committing.
Sudoku.
I hate text.
Any of you dick shits got AB blood? Raise your hand.
Go watch it, seriously. See you next time.